Alright, hello, welcome, episode 2 of this post-commentary of Celebration UHC. As mentioned, this is episode 2, and we are kind of strapped for food. Permanight comes into effect in just a couple seconds, or as soon as our host, yep, there we go. So now, we need to get down, get underground, protect ourselves from the monsters that will be coming to ravage our souls in just a couple moments. So here I am digging down, and I feel like, I am recording this the day before this gets uploaded. Today, I believe, is November 2nd. This goes up on November 3rd. And I'd like to talk a little bit, more about D&D. So, and just a few of the characters I've been playing. So, the first character I ever made, our group didn't play by the rules right. We kind of misunderstood them. We thought that multi-classing worked like every time you level up, you get to take a level in both classes. This is not how it actually works. So I had a slightly OP wizard sorcerer for my first campaign. He was an enchantment wizard and a wild magic sorcerer. Wild magic is, by the way, in my opinion, the best thing. Oh, got a silverfish. To happen to D&D. Oh, hey, friend. Alright. Currently in one of the campaigns I'm playing a paladin. He's level 2, but when he hits level 3, he will be an Oath of Vengeance paladin. He's an Asimir, which means he's an angel dude, essentially. And he's got an angelic guide. And his angelic guide has a thing against demons, obviously, as an angel. So he really wants to kill demons, and especially demons who are a servant of the demon prince known as the Demogorgon, because it was the Demogorgon that killed his angelic guide brother. So that's kind of his thing. When I play him, I tend to get hilariously bad rolls. So, despite the fact that I think I've got some decent roleplay going with him, and I've slightly min-maxed a little bit to the point where I have 19 AC at level 2, because shield and armor and a bunch of very high stats, etc. So yeah, but I haven't gotten to do much in terms of damage, because I keep getting horrible rolls on my attacks. Hopefully we can fix that. A character I've made for a campaign I will play in sometime soon, as soon as the DM is ready. He's going to be a dwarf Path of the Storm Herald. If you don't know, Path of the Storm Herald is an Unearthed Arcana class. It is going to be in Xanathar's Guide to Everything when that comes out. And its thing is that it gets to pick from one of 3 domains, either sea, desert, or tundra. And depending on which domain you pick, pick broke, so I gotta go and craft one. Anyway, depending on which domain you pick, you get to exude a kind of aura around that debuffs your enemies and buffs your allies. So that's going to be great. I probably should have taken that food there, because I'm about to die. So yeah, here I am on 1 hunger. In any case, so I like that class because it's not your typical barbarian who's just a berserker who's out to kill anything you can find. He's, a bit more of a support role. Although I tend to dislike playing supports, just in games, he's a support who can still pack some serious punch, and that is going to be fun. Our characters I'm making, another thing we're doing is we're doing a level 20 one-shot, otherwise known as an epic level one-shot, where all of the characters start at level 20, which is the highest level in D&D rules is written. I'll be playing another wild magic character, a tiefling wild magic sorcerer. And I'm going to be playing him as completely insane, driven mad by the power that was given to him, and by his inability to control it. That's not how you make boots. You can tell this is my first UHC in a while. So, got armor now. But in any case, I haven't got to play him yet, because we haven't run a session of this epic level campaign yet. Oh, accidentally placed some wood. But I believe it is going to be a fun time to play that character. Because... So here I am asking if I can strip mine. Alright, in any case, he should be fun to play. And the reason I'm doing this is because I really like D&D because, first of all, we've got a pretty fun group and everyone's crazy and high energy. So that's great. And I also just like that there's, especially if you count Unearthed Arcana stuff, there are so many different races and so many different classes to experiment with. And honestly, I just want to play them all. So... I eventually plan on trying to play all of the different subclasses and all the different races, but that's that's gonna involve a lot of campaigns and/or a lot of one-shots. So yeah, I'm also a DM of a campaign right now. I can't spoil too much because one of the people that might be watching this is one of the players, but we've only done one session so far. They're currently staring down a dragon. Basically, I sent them on a quest to get a holy ring, and they went from a crypt. They cleared out most of the crypt, no trouble, but the session ended with them staring down a dragon with a room with a chest at the center. And this room has this is where the object you need written all over it. But can the level 1 adventurers beat the Wormwing dragon? Oh, found some gold I can't mine. Alright, that is a question that we'll find out next time I get to DM. And, by the way, if you don't play D&D, maybe a lot of this just sounded like complete nonsense. And if so, I'm really sorry, but D&D is probably going to be the main focus of my commentary for this episode, because it's what I'm kind of inspired to talk about. Another class I really want to play sometime in the near future is going to be the Mystic. That is a Scion class character, who uses Psionic instead of magic to attack. And the reason is, they are just so incredibly versatile. You'll see I'm making 2 picks because my teammate here, Will, found some gold or diamonds, I can't remember which, and I'm going down to deliver him some stuff before I go mine myself some gold. So, oh, hiya, friend. Oh, and there I took another heart of fall damage. Whoops. Alright, in my defense, that was a really stupidly designed staircase. So the idea of the Scion is that / Mystic, they're the same thing, different names for the same thing, but just it's so versatile. There's just so many different combinations of abilities you can take. So no 2 Psionics are really ever going to be the same, and that's definitely something I like. Another class I'm pretty excited, I really want to try out at some point, is I want to try out some form of the Warlock. If you don't play D&D, the Warlock is a charismatic spellcaster class, focused primarily on dealing a lot of damage in one turn. They're the kind of like glass cannon in that they tend to not have that high defense, but they can do, and they don't have the resources to sustain a long fight, but in the short fights, they are deadly. And the idea behind the Warlock is that the Warlock is someone who, found some redstone, is that they get their power by forming some kind of pact or bond with a being of greater power, whether that's signing your soul away to a devil, accepting a deal with a fae, just accidentally taking some power from a great old one, etc., etc. So they are a pretty exciting class. I did a couple other characters I've done for a one-shot. I played a little while ago. I played a one-shot where I was a Tiefling Bard. The one-shot never got past level 1 because we ran out of time. But the idea behind him is Tieflings, if you don't know, are basically cursed humans. They were cursed thousands of years ago. I'm digging to a cave here, by the way, because I hear water somewhere. In any case, long ago, some humans messed up. They got themselves cursed, and now they look like and have the powers of demons. So they're pretty universally hated for obvious reasons. And yeah, so like almost anyone who sees a Tiefling is going to either run away or try to kill it. So the idea was this Tiefling just wanted to be loved. So as a knight, he's a pretty young child, or like he's not a child, he's a teenager, but he's pretty naive, and his logic is people don't like Tieflings, but people like bards, because bards make people happy. So therefore, if I want to get people to like me, I should make people happy by becoming, there's some water, by becoming a bard. So he's a Tiefling bard. I never got to decide what subclass I was ever going to choose for him. But, he just goes around trying to make friends. But he's also a little bit spiteful. If he does because if anyone ever makes fun of him for his race or anyone else or any other typelings for his race, he will destroy you quickly and without mercy. So, that's kind of his shtick. Another character I did for an even smaller one-shot was a cleric. I believe he was in the light domain, which means that he had a lot of light and fire spells. I never really fleshed out a good roleplay for him because, I was just making him because I wanted to play in a one-shot, and I didn't have a character ready. But he got into some adventures. Namely, he attacked the headquarters of kobolds and killed a bunch of them. He escaped barely with his life, but he did escape. Not sure. I was outnumbered 10-1, and a lot of them were stronger than me. So honestly, it was just a lot of nat 20s that got me out of it. Other adventures of characters that we're playing. Let's see. Due to play rehearsals, I've been missing a lot of the game that I'm playing my paladin in. But so far they've taken down an orc fortress while I was gone. So apparently the final boss fight was a duel between the leader of the found some gold of the orcs versus the other paladin in my party, and apparently that boss fight was intended to apparently that fight was intended to be for me, but I couldn't make it. Alright, we've got enough gold to heal. That's good, because right now we are down 7.5 hearts, and that is not a situation you want to be in Ultra Hardcore. So I've missed a couple practices, or not practices, I've been to every play practice. I missed a couple meetings of the D&D one-shot, but I went to the one today for a few minutes, because I had time at the end of play practice. And, so now we're on a boat, and we're fighting some water weirds. If you don't know what a water weird is, it's a kind of elemental. It's made entirely of water. When I got there, the party was kind of getting their butts kicked, because 2 people were already unconscious, and none of the water weirds were dead. But I showed up, and I'm sure I will save the day. Because that is how we do it here in the land of Pokecraft 4615. So, yeah. As for some, let's see. What else could I talk about D&D related? Because I'm trying to make this an episode about D&D, because that is one of my bigger passions right now. Oh yeah, so I'm just going to talk about some of the other races, and here, I'm pretty sure here I am trying to find my way back to my strip mine so I can meet up with my teammate, because while digging to this cave, I accidentally made a really confusing strip mine. In any case, so the only races I've gotten to play as so far are the Asimir, which I really like, a tiefling, a human, and an elf. Soon I'll get to play as a dwarf. But that hasn't really covered a lot of the really fun races. So in the Unearthed Arcana, there is a race called the Changeling, which basically allows you to take on the appearance of any race you like. Your true form is never to be seen, essentially. You can revert to your true form. I don't remember what it looks like off the top of my head. But the idea of playing a changeling is that you don't necessarily tell your party you're playing a changeling. Obviously, your DM has to know because the DM is the leader of the game. The DM should know everything. But it's a fun little RP mechanic. You could obviously tell your party, but not necessary. I'm not sure what I'm doing here. I think I might hear some lava or water, and I'm trying to find it. So, if you're wondering why I'm digging around, yeah, that is probably it. And I can't say for certain because it has been a little bit too long since I recorded this originally. And again, I do want to apologize about the fact that we don't have team commentary. I will say that our commentary, me and Will, was not the best because we have slightly differing playstyles. Because, you see, this is off topic from D&D, but I joined the UHC community a couple years ago, like in 2014 or 2015. So, I kind of got introduced to UHC, like, back when Xmas was still a thing. So, I really like UHCs that have long times till meetup, and, you can just cave. Because, as I think I mentioned last episode, I am not very good at PvP, and although I'm not the best at PvE, I prefer it to PvP vastly. So, So I kind of play more cautiously, less aggressively. And I have a feeling that our play styles kind of clash. Oh, whoa. Whoa, 4 diamonds, whoa. Alright. I mean, don't get me wrong, he is a great guy, but but I was I was the last guy to pick, we were the last guys to pick teammates, so. And I'm not saying I don't want to team with him again. He is definitely a good guy who I would team again with, but alright, I'm talking myself into a corner here. Oh, jeez. Hey, I found lava. And that's why you should always have cobble on your, really on your bar, kids. Live and learn. Oh, rip my pickaxe. So, some other classes I want to try are the Druid. If you don't know, the Druid has a bunch of subclasses in Unearthed Arcana. But if we're just going by the main books, its 2 subclasses are Circle of the Land, which focuses on magic, and Circle of the Moon, which focuses on shape-shifting. They're both fun, although the Circle of the Moon is objectively better in terms of stats, because it doesn't matter if you have a really bad character, because when you're transformed, you take on the stats of the animal you transform. So even if your stats are not so hot, you can still do well as a Circle of the Moon. And that's definitely a character I want to play sometime in the near future. And by the way, if you ask, the race in class I least like, for class, probably, oh jeez. Alright, I almost killed myself there. Probably rogues. I don't know. Too many edgelords have ruined the experience of playing a rogue. And honestly, I am not the... So in video games, the kinds of missions I hate most are escort missions and stealth missions. Especially when the stealth missions insta-fail you if you're spotted. Because I'm not a sneaky guy. My instinct playstyle is not sneak around and avoid the enemy. It's do what you can to kill the enemy. I like stealth, like, for example, I'll try and sneak... In Breath of the Wild, I'll often do my best to sneak behind an enemy so I can get the surprise advantage. But which is what a rogue does. But for stealth missions, like the one in the, spoiler alert if you haven't played, but in the Yiga Clan hideout, it took me so many tries to beat that stealth mission just because that is not my playstyle. And rogues kind of rely on that stealthiness to live and do their thing, and I don't like that. And my least favorite race, this is about to turn into a huge rant, is a race called the Kenku. They were a crow-like people who were cursed many years ago. Their curse was, first of all, they lost their wings. They used to be able to fly. Second of all, they lost their speech, so they can't communicate in any language. They can imitate any sound that is not a spoken word, but they cannot speak. This curse and the third curse, I'm fine with the first curse. I don't think they should be able to fly. But these next 2 curses are why I hate them. Because their third curse is that they had all the ingenuity sucked out of them. All the creativity. So, again, they can mimic anything that they've seen, but they can't come up with ideas on their own. And as someone who prides himself on being at least a little bit creative, oh, here I am navigating my strip mine again, just having to play a character who couldn't be allowed to come up with any sort of ingenuity, or, that's not the right word, any sort of creative plan for the party just would be stifling. And I tend to not like Kenkus and campaigns I'm DMing, just because the fact that they can't talk gets annoying. Because then there are 2 ways to do it. You can either say, alright, my Kenku makes noises and the party understands them to mean blah blah blah. Or you can, like, take out a like, paper and pretend it's like a slate and write on it for that. And either way, I just find them annoying to play with and as. So that's one race I will never play as. And, yeah. Also, I don't know, I just think they just look, they're crow people, I don't like them. The other bird race, the Arakakra, which can actually fly, isn't much better. It's a little bit broke, oh geez, because they can fly out of melee range, which means you have to have ranged weapons, or ranged enemies to deal with them as a DM. but I'd prefer them over the Kenku. In any case, that is it for this episode. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.